Actually, I was closeted for the longest time. I was a federal agent before I ran for sheriff. And I remember, trying to decide whether I could go to the bar or not, or somebody might see me. And the biggest thing back then was, I was sometimes a drug agent, an anti-smuggling agent, an anti-terrorism. And the hardest thing was you constantly heard that if you were gay or lesbian, somebody was going to blackmail you. Because they would either say, let me get away with this, or I'm telling your department that you're lesbian. And so that was the hardest thing, because I kept thinking, oh my goodness, somebody's going to blackmail me or going to try to blackmail me. I think I would have done the right thing. Thank goodness it never happened. But I went to a fundraiser where Barney Franks was at. So I approached Barney Franks. I gave him my business card, and I very honestly said, I'm scared that I said, I'm lesbian. I'm scared that they're going to fire me. And I worked for the Department of Treasury at that time. And I said, I'm afraid that they're going to fire me if they found out. And he took my name and phone number and everything. And sometime later, he wrote me and he said, I approached the Treasury Secretary, who was DEA, Secret Service, ATF, and all of those folks. And he said, I approached the Treasury Secretary, and I gave him a scenario. And he said, without any names or cities, I told him your situation. And he said, that will not happen under my watch. So as long as that's the only issue, you don't have any problem. And I think that must have been maybe in the 80s or the 90s, I'm not sure. And after that, there was a sigh of relief, but I still didn't come out to the local place. Now Dallas is very gay-friendly. You may not recall this, but a little bit over a decade ago, there was a woman who applied to DPD as an out lesbian, and they dragged her through the mud in the morning news, in the paper. Myra England was her name. And I was an agent at that time. And I'm going, oh my God, look at what they're doing to her. And the only thing she's done is to say openly, I'm a lesbian. And they recruited her, and they brought her from Oklahoma, I think it was. They recruited her and brought her down because they looked at her record and her school and everything and thought she was wonderful. And as soon as she got here, ready to get into uniform, and she admitted that she was lesbian, they dragged her through the mud. And that was maybe 12 or 13 years ago. So at that time, the attitude toward the gays and lesbians was quite a bit different. And of course, as you all know, in 2004, I was elected, and that was the first sign of acceptance, one of the first signs